What is good? It is your boy, Mr. Friends from MrFriendsProductions.com. Now, we are going to continue with this beat, and we're going to start structuring it out to what we want it to sound like. Now, structure is one of the most important things that you can do with a beat, because essentially right here, we have a beat. And we could literally just loop this over and over and over again. However, the problem is that there's no variation. All music has forms of variations. It has ups and it has downs. And what we want to do is we want to create those ups and downs for the artist, okay? So if you're making beats for an artist, you definitely want to have a structure in place, okay? Now, what we're going to do for this beat is we're going to do a generic type of simple structure, okay? So first thing what I want to do is I'm going to take out the drums completely, okay? And I'm just going to listen to the melodies and the harmonic structure. Great, fantastic. So to start off, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have the chords play to start. This would be known as the introduction, okay? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the strings that support the chords, okay? Gives it a little bit more texture, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this string loop by coming over here. Basically, you see how the cursor is basically has two arrows at the end of it right there. You're going to take the loop and you're going to click and drag to where you want it to be. Now, here's the big thing, though. Like we were talking about in one of the last modules last videos, is that if you're on 0, it's not going to snap to the grid, which is no bueno, okay? So make sure you're on line or one of these components, okay? Because this will lock to the grid. See how it's locking? It's trimming it line by line. That's what we want. Okay, so the reason why I am trimming it over here is because I want the strings to start after 2 measures, okay? I'll get into theory and all that sort of stuff later when we start programming drums. But just bear with me right here and follow along if you got this. Great. Now, what this did essentially was it just built up a little bit of tension, okay? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this right here because this harmonic structure basically goes down in pitch. I'll show you what I mean. You see what I mean there? Now, the thing is that what I'm doing is I'm guiding the listener into this beat, okay? What I'm doing essentially is I'm creating an introduction, okay? So what I want to do is I want to save this pitch drop for later on, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste this over here. Now to do that, all you have to do is bring your mouse over here, hit Shift, click, and drag it over, okay? I'm also going to do the same thing with these strings right here because I don't want the strings to drop out, okay? Great. So, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start bringing in my drums, okay? So, I'm going to find my rim shot or my clap, which is this right here, and I'm going to bring that in. And where I'm going to bring it in is actually right here, okay? I want the rim shot to hit right here, okay? Because now what I'm creating is the verse, okay? So this essentially is where the rapper is going to start rapping or the singer is going to start singing. Okay, great. Another thing I'm going to do too to add a little tiny bit more movement is I'm going to bring in the hi-hats as well, okay? Just to kind of give the beat a little bit more vibe and give like the artist a little something to kind of move to. Okay, I'm going to bring this over here. And now if I want to make this shorter, I can either bring my cursor over here and drag it over, or as well as you know, you can just hit C or the cut tool and just cut it, okay? There are multiple ways to do the same thing, okay? Okay, great. So let's have a listen now. This is a big thing, guys, too. Always, always, always listen to your beat while you're making it, okay? Don't follow this as just, a procedure. I'm just going to drag this over here. I'm going to drag this over there. Never do that. I have a lot of students who basically just kind of do this Mr. Potato Head beat making without listening, and then they're shocked when they play it back and it sounds like a la garbage. Always hit play, just like what I'm doing here. You always want to take a reference, an audio reference, because we're working with audio here. Great, I like that. Now what I'm going to do is, you remember this right here? I'm going to bring in that pitch down of those chords and put them right there, because that's where I want that pitch bend, or that, it's not a pitch bend. Basically, it just goes down the scale, okay? But I don't want to get too technical theory-wise with you. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy over my snare drum or rim shot and my hi-hat. Fantastic. Oops, excuse me. Fantastic. Great. Now what I'm going to do is I want that first start to come back again. So the start of the loop, I want it to repeat or loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy everything here by hitting Shift, Control, click out of the loop section or on the playlist here, and then drag it. This will highlight everything. And then what you can do is you can hit Shift, click your mouse, and drag it over to where you want it to be. Okay? Sweet. Now, I'm not going to play from the intro. We already know what the intro is. What I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start playing from when the music starts to bend, or it starts to go down in key, and then keep going from there. Okay, so it cycles back around. Now what I want to do is I want to start bringing in more drums, because I need something else to happen in the beat to make it more interesting or to give it more oomph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the bass drum or the kick drum, okay? So let's bring in the kick drum. Here it is. I'm going to bring it in right here. Fantastic. Okay. Now, the verse or the rapping starts here and it continues on over here, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy paste this. What I hit right there was a Control B, okay? Now if you're not comfortable with that yet, that's okay. Just go ahead and do what we're doing. Hit Shift, click, and drag over just like that, okay? Okay. Now, to really make this beat bump and to add more variation, I'm going to bring in the 808. Now, the 808 is the bass, okay? And that's what really, really makes this a trap song, essentially, because trap music is very bass heavy, okay? So I'm going to take this 808 here, and I'm going to put it in the next part of the song, okay? Comes the 808. Great. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in that flute. I'm going to bring in the flute to establish the hook of the song, okay? Now, the hook is generally the chorus, and it's the part that people sing along to. It's the thing that is, one, the main message of the song, and also the part of the song that brings the entire song together. Usually, it's something that repeats. It can be a chant, so on and so forth. So I'm going to bring in that flute. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to drag it over, I'm going to bring in my flute. And this is what will establish the placement for the hook, okay? Here we go. Now, this is only about a third to half the beat, okay? But it has the main components to it. It has an introduction, it has the main verse, and it also has a chorus or a hook, okay? Now, since this is only about a third or half the beat, what I could do, literally, is just copy and paste all of this over, and then basically you have just the normal runtime for a pop song, which is about 2 minutes to about 4 minutes. So that's totally up to you how long you want to make the beat. Now in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding more flavor to this beat by using the percussion. Now in the next video, what I'm going to show you how to do is to add a little bit extra flavor by using the percussion in this construction pack, okay? Just to add a little tiny bit of nuances and stuff like that, okay? This is Mr. Frenzy, MrFrenzyProductions.com, and I will see you in the next video.